Well, hello and welcome to Material Musings. And it happens to be a Monday. Anyway, so this is really the final week of this particular project. By hook or by crook. I am going to finish this and see all of the background. Let's see if we can come in a bit there. Anyway, so here we are with these projects that were inspired by this one, in the sense that this is started out as a wax resist, and I want to go through it later to show you everything that has been done and show you a before when we first started and how it is now. So let's look at the projects that we've been working on and we'll come back to this. So out of those two projects, and I will link them in the description if this is your first time watching Material Musings. So out of the first two projects, we had the fabric, we created the design from wax, painted, and you went away. We didn't meet last week, and so this week what we're looking at is how we then move them on. What do we do with them? What can you do with them? So we'll give you a few ideas as to how you can use them. And so the other two that I then created, aside from that, are these two. So we've got a little house and then we've got some tulips. And when, I can decide that I'll stitch them or not. The other thing I like about these is that once you've wax resist them, especially if you do it on white fabric, then you get that translucent effect. So I could put something behind this and you should be able to pick up, again, dependent on how you decide to finish it off. You might decide you want to frame them, and if you frame them in perspex, with perspex either side, then you'll get that, nice translucent look. So these will probably go into my projects to be done. I'm not sure, what I choose or what I decide to do with them. And then just let me move these out of the way. But it's very easy what you can do with. You can even use the. So I use the oil burner, which is here for those of you that are not sure. So you put the tea light in there, and then you put your wax in the top. And I've just used an old candle, yeah? But I've got links below of all the things. If you don't have those things to hand and you want to go out and buy them, I've left some links of the products that I use. They're fairly easy to access, or go to your hardware store, you'll find candles, you'll find, yeah. Anyway, so as I say, I've stitched them. Now there are several things that you can decide to do. So you could frame them in a frame. I'm not going to pick out a frame now, but you know what a frame looks like. But yeah, you could put them in a frame. You could get perspex and put them in between perspex if you've got the facility where you can then enclose it. That's actually a nice way to frame these kind of things. If you don't want to kind of put any backing on there, that's what it looks like at the back. I just got to finish tying off. And this one, as we can see, when I cut this fabric, because there was a bit that had cut off, I used the bit that was cut and made a piece in the middle here, and I did some French knots and just some straight stitches, and just picked up with different coloured threads. I've used crochet and embroidery thread, and on here I've just used crochet thread, which comes in rolls like this. Okay, so I've got some fabric that I've selected, and the other thing you can do is make them into sort of like a little mini wall hanging, fabric wall hanging. So you need to then just kind of build up the fabric and decide, you know, what do I want as the backing. Pretty much how I do a lot of the pieces that I'm working on. Decide what kind of backing or background do I want to use, and then start working on it. So this is upholstery fabric, and then this is just I think it's a mix, it's not cotton, I don't think. And then we've got my piece. So something like this, I would say maybe challenge myself and say, okay, now what would I wouldn't necessarily go for this one, but I might go for, say, like a blue or a pink or a green, like a main full-on colour, plain colour. But then I saw this and I thought, oh, you know, well, it's a lighter shade of green, and I could maybe try and incorporate this green if I have it into the stitched piece. So I like sometimes to challenge myself and see where we go with things. And then I've got this background, and you can either add your pieces to, again, this is the this is upholstery fabric, but looking at this I'm thinking, no, I want something in between. I wouldn't just have it like this. So I've got some other fabric here that I'm not sure whether I'd cut a piece to size, but that you have something that's just totally different, and then you could bring in elements like, well, we've got these three, we've got the browns that kind of go together, so why not maybe take, this has got like a selection of leaves, so I could take some shapes with these leaves and maybe add it here or add it somewhere. I'm not sure, I think I cut more than one. Or it could go at the side. It could, you know, be incorporated in that way. So I'm thinking of doing that, and then I could still again bring in some other colours, or take these colours outwards, the blues, and bring it out here and just see what happens. I could maybe go round the shapes that you can see once I've cut it to size. Whatever shapes left, I could go around with a blue, or, you know, and do it like that. I've got this fabric as well. This is a nice one, I like this one. And then we've got this one, so I could take, it might work this way. This has got gold, we've got the green. I did the French knots here. Some of them are loose. So, or there may need to be something like this. Again, these two colours may go, but this one, these don't really go. Let's have a look with this one. It's like I'm determined to use this backing. But again, as I say, it's just like, okay, you know, just challenge yourself. It's like, what would you normally do? Now do the opposite. So normally I would go and, you know, find the colours that go, and maybe I will do that just to have a look and see how it looks, as opposed to just then deciding, okay, we're gonna be rebels. So This one I might put together with this. See the faces looking in. Might do that. Or let me see what it looks like on here. No, I don't like that. That one I can live with. This one I can live with. Actually, so maybe this can go on here. Yeah, I can live with this. Yeah? So I can show you how I would then move this forward, or move this one forward. So we've got those two, and then we've got the ones that we've stitched. So the other thing that you can do, as I say, you can add it to a journal, or you might have a fabric journal. Did I say that already? So I've got a journal. You could have it at the front of a journal. You could have a fabric journal that you're making or have made, and add it. Or you might want to, you know, fold it in half, make a small journal. This could be the front of a journal. As I say, we've got the framing, or we've got adding fabrics and stitching, and then you can, you know, add a dowel or the back in, and then hang it. Yeah? So let us, I'm going to get fabric, see if I've got any fabric this colour, and we'll see what that as an alternative looks like. So I have located this pink fabric, pink polka dots, so we can, that's not bad. Here is some more. I've just got a few more of the background fabric. So even that's not bad. I've got I think this was a dress. So with the flowers, I'm just gonna see what I think. I think that would be too much. Do you know what? I think with this one, I'm more leaning towards, say, something like this. Okay, so what I think I will do is prep them all so that we can then move forward, because you can go around and looking at different fabrics forever, but make a choice, make a decision, and then move forward with that one, and then that will become a little project in itself, or it's just there, you just leave it. Everything doesn't have to be a project. But it's nice to work on, it's nice to see how your pieces can, I even like that. I think I like, because I like this material. I think I like that look better. Yeah. What should we do? Should we go with that? Yeah. I can use this another time. It's like, it's not as if it's, and then this particular fabric goes better maybe with. Anyway, so I'll cut them down so that we can have a look and see, and then I'll come back and then we'll also look at the other one. Okay, so here we have, they're not finished, but I've chosen the fabric and the backing. It's not the ultimate backing, this is the way I work. I would probably put this on another piece of fabric, but this is where I'll take it for now. If I wanted to if I wanted to frame it, I would just leave it as is. And so one of the things that you could potentially do is to decide on the frame first and then think about the fabric, because this, if I want everything to be seen, this measures 8.5 by 9.5. So you might need to go bigger than an 8 by 10. Yeah. So this is, yeah, 8.5. So I would need a larger frame, or maybe a box frame or whatever. Okay, so that's the first one. So what I would do for now is I would just pin them together. And so I know that this is something I could then work on when I've got a moment, because all I'm now doing is picking out the threads that I want to highlight. So I want to highlight the green, we've got black, so I'm bringing in some of the colours in here and going round this piece. And then I want to incorporate even maybe some of the yellow into the outside fabric. Now, because of the weight of the backing that I'm using, the upholstery fabric, there should be very little puckering, but there may be on this one because it's the lightest of the two. But to get around that, you just add in some additional tiny stitches. Yeah, so that's that one. I think that I'm happy to work on that. And then we've got just a slightly difference in colour. It's more like it's got a portish pinkish colour, which works actually because we've got the pink polka dots and then we've got this with the pink in it. So I think that works as well. And again, I would use white out in here, white, and I would bring some of the blue as well, because I want to bring that onto the polka dots. We've got white in here, so what I'll be doing is attaching these two together. So I might use a white thread to attach them together and then attach them to this final bit. But then, yeah, bring in some of the pink, bring the pink out here. And nicely, this is a tulip paint that I've used, a pink kind of pearlized, and it's similar colour to the pink polka dot, and then I can just, yeah, incorporate, I'm sure I've got some sort of pink embroidery thread. I don't have the pink crochet thread, I don't think. No, I didn't buy that. Anyway, so let's look at the others. So that's that one. So with this one now, as I say, just do something different. Go with what you would normally do and then go the opposite way. Try something different. So here we've got a colour that I like, but I wouldn't necessarily have used it for this. But we're going to use it anyway and see what we can do with it. And so I'm going to take some of the red, bring it in here. It might be that I bring the red around the border. I take some of this pink and maybe do the opposite, do the pink to stitch this together. Bring some of the blue, bring some of the green. So you get the feeling, the idea. And this is just, these ones are just really nice to just play with. This is similar to if you were getting your art journal. And like I say with the art journal, just play with the colours, see what colours you've got, and just play with your supplies. And, you know, don't worry about what you think it's going to look like. But if you don't experiment, you're not going to know how something could potentially look. Like me using these three together then gets me familiar with the types of fabrics they are in stitching. I'm not saying I'm a professional at anything, but I know what I like, I know what I enjoy, and I know that just even working on these is a therapeutic act, so I'm going to be good. Okay, and we've got this one. I like these colours because of the yellows here, the tulips. And so in a similar sort of way, I'm going to incorporate some of these colours. I will try and match a thread. I think I've got some thread this colour. If not, we'll do like, you know, maybe an adjacent colour, or, you know, totally opposite. Maybe I'll use the black. We've got the brown here, so I want to bring some brown in here. And so that's how I would then take those forward. So what you've been able to do is learn how to do some wax resist yourself, and then take it further, do the stitching, and then add it to a project, work the project in a particular way. And you can, you know, make as much or as little of it as you wish, but just play with it and see where it gets you. So what we'll do now is look at the main project which sparked all of these ideas, and I'll show you closely how I've been working on it. So we'll go up a bit closer, and all of the things that I've said to you about you know, the puckering, those can be treated with more stitches. And so that very thing here, we've still got the puckering here. So this is the side that I've worked on, and it's now flat. So that's all I'll need to do with this. Just work on this, add some additional tiny stitches, and these areas, any area that there is puckering, that will disappear. And you can still see the contrast in the wax resist, and what I decided to do was to use the thread as the paint. So I'm using where I've done the wax resist and the paint as a guide for the colour, and I'm going to come in and do the stitches. It doesn't mean that I don't do this particular piece again, and I can just have it as a wax resist piece with just paint, sorry about that, and just work with the colours on just the flat surface. This design is a design I have in my Etsy store, so it's a colouring sheet, but you can use it in terms of your projects. I will be creating some kits for stitching as well, and showing you some mini dolls, hopefully. That will be another project. So that is that. I've still got stitching to do. What I'll do for the next Material Musings is I will just kind of do a little recap to show you where I've got. Hopefully I would have finished it within the next few days. So I hope that you've enjoyed that project for this month, and I look forward to sharing a new project. I haven't decided what it is. I've just got so many that are part way through their adventure and journey, and I'm thinking about something that I did previously. I worked on some fabric and showed you how you could take the like lace or ribbons and use them as stencils, but looking at how we can take some of the supplies that we have that we use in mixed media and use them on fabric and create even more designs on fabric. So we might be going down that road, where I'll look and see what projects I have with things like silver and, you know, other additional decorative elements, and or glitter or gold leaf. I don't think I've got any gold leaf fabric projects, but we'll see. But that's a heads up. That may be the route that I take. But I hope that you have enjoyed doing the wax resist, and you'll be able to potentially catch a lot more on my course platform. I'll have the full start to finish that I shared, and you can just catch it in one place on the course platform. But yeah, so I'll leave all the links with all of the supplies. If you go through your supplies first, see what you have, and then if you need to buy, you've got all the links available to you. And I look forward to seeing your projects. It's been a real fun kind of working on this, and I've really enjoyed working on. I've spent longer working on this project than I normally spend. It's just opened up a lot more in terms of what I would like to do with it. But it'd be nice to work on one of these projects, and as I say, I'll do a short recap in next week's, and I may have moved one of these on even further. So take care for now, and I look forward to connecting with you once again.